When Izaiah left, Jacob then went to do his undercover work, surprisingly on a staircase and not the alley, which actually might have been the most shocking twist in this entire episode. Hello, everybody. Here to talk about today's Beyond the Gates episode, our Monday episode for the week that did not air live here, at least not more than the first half of it. So I did not watch it live today, hence why I am later than usual. But I guess if there was ever an episode to be interrupted by someone just speaking their usual nonsense, I guess today was the episode because it was a very special Naomi and Jacob episode where the whole episode revolved around them and their anniversary. And it was a special episode, all right. Especially boring. So I was kind of glad I didn't watch it live and had some room to fast forward some of it. But I still did try to watch most of it in hopes of having something to talk about with today's episode. It, of course, started with Naomi and Jacob apart, even though it is their anniversary. This was established last week. Izaiah came to see Jacob, though, and this was the part of the episode that kind of irked me, is that, and Izaiah asked the question too, but Jacob called to see Izaiah today on the anniversary, but not Naomi, which was kind of contrived to me, definitely contrived. I get that Jacob wanted to talk to Izaiah about Izaiah asking for his burner phone and how their mother was worried about Jacob. Izaiah did some apologizing for asking about the phone, but then asked Jacob why he had time to see him and not his wife. Jacob had some excuse about how he didn't want Naomi anywhere near this undercover operation today. But it's just Jacob again being undercover, calling someone to come to his hotel room by our favorite alley. But instead of it being Naomi on their anniversary, it was Izaiah. And I don't know. I don't ever like a special episode like this on a soap opera. I can't recall one time where a soap opera decides to have a special episode dedicated to some side story and the whole episode revolves around that side story. It usually does come off as boring and inconsequential, and that's how today came off. And they had to do it in a contrived way where Jacob has time to see Izaiah on he and Naomi's anniversary, but not Naomi when he's been, whisking Naomi for secret meetings his entire time, being undercover. Didn't love that. I did kind of like Jacob and Izaiah talking about their mother, about how Darlene doesn't like Eva right now because Jacob recalled how she didn't like Naomi either because of her being a Dupree. We'll talk about that a little later too. But we also learned from their early days that Naomi is the one that asked out Jacob and not him. But then Jacob and Izaiah talked a little bit more about their mother and Eva, and Jacob told Izaiah that Eva is going to have to rise above their mom's shade, and Eva can probably do that. But Darlene does seem a little hard to please as a mother-in-law. When Izaiah left, Jacob then went to do his undercover work, surprisingly on a staircase and not the alley, which actually might have been the most shocking twist in this entire episode. But the rest of it was basically very Naomi-centric because Naomi was missing Jacob for their anniversary. She met with Ashley, where Ashley got Naomi an anniversary present, which kind of made Naomi tear up a bit. And Naomi recalled how back in the day when Naomi and Jacob were first getting together that she got some good advice from Ashley to really pursue her hottie cop, as we learned was Naomi's nickname for Jacob back then. So Ashley was kind of the one to push Naomi to pursue the hottie cop, which turned out to be Jacob. I saw some people posting online about how Naomi is always only investing all of her secrets and time into Ashley, and how even back before they were getting married, Naomi spent a lot of time talking about Ashley And they're like, maybe they should just put Ashley and Naomi together. And you know what? It might be more chemistry than Ashley's ever had with someone else, but also more chemistry than Naomi and Jacob have. Now, would they go down that path when Chelsea is already the gay sister on the show, or at least bi? But I can see them going there with Naomi because Naomi, the actress that plays Naomi, is gay in real life. So it's possible, and I think it might actually be better for the character. Now, how do we get from point A to point B when they're such good friends? It does seem maybe like a lot, but a friends to lovers story is always a hit with me, so I wouldn't be against that, even though I don't see it as strongly as some other people online seem to see it. Anyway, Naomi did recall when she was first getting to know Darlene and how that was a strike against her with Darlene. And it seemed like it was because of her last name being a Dupree, which made Darlene feel some kind of way. Darlene talked about how she came from South Carolina and not Mount Pleasant, where Naomi had visited, which is a great Richie area code, but how Darlene was still proud of who she is. I mean, it felt like more so Darlene was coming from a place of insecurity with her son being married into the Duprees. Darlene asked Naomi who from Naomi's family didn't go to college, and she did talk about how Dani nor Anita went to college, how Anita made a name for herself in the music industry and Dani in the modeling industry. After Naomi spent that time with Ashley thinking about how she tried to get in with Darlene and the Hawthorne family, Naomi went to go see her mother, and we learned that Dani is drinking less these days because of her BRCA gene. But Dani did ask Naomi if she wanted the real alcohol since she doesn't have the gene, even though we know she does and she's keeping it a secret. But Naomi said no thank you. And then they recalled the time when Naomi was talking to her mom for the first time about how she's into Jacob and if it's a real thing or not. Dani back then made the joke that Naomi is really into Jacob, not because of him being in her mind all the time, but something lower, although it was a joke from Dani. Dani was talking about Naomi's heart. And then Naomi recalled when Jacob and her moved into their new apartment for the first time, eating pizza. Ashley came over and brought an air mattress for them because they didn't have a bed yet. And then Dani had a memory of Jacob talking with her about Naomi's hopes and dreams and him wanting to make them come true. And Jacob asking Dani for Naomi's hand in marriage. So Naomi learned that Jacob told Dani about the wedding. So Naomi knew about the marriage before she did. And Dani's proud of Jacob because, unlike Bill, Jacob has been a man of his word so far when it came to his and Naomi's marriage. We got to see their first proposal when Jacob came home in his police uniform, and even though he was planning this big engagement, he loved seeing Naomi in his shirt and her bonnet and proposed to her while she was in bed because he couldn't wait, which seemed like a letdown. But honestly, I do think Jacob gave a good little speech during that proposal that we saw about how she was a surprise that came into his life and he wants her to choose him forever. Then Naomi recalled their wedding and their vows together. As you can see, if you missed today's episode, it was heavily a flashback episode for flashbacks we've never actually seen before. They really seem to want to make us care more about this Jacob and Naomi relationship right now. It's harder because the second half of last year was all about Naomi and Jacob having problems. And some of those problems were not very good television, and they've kind of been a boring couple from jump. And so I am wondering, are they trying to make us care because they're actually going to kill Jacob off with this Impaler storyline? I feel like that's the only thing they can do to either shock us or make us feel a little more better about this storyline that's kind of not working so far. We've done a lot of complaining lately about this Impaler storyline and how it is falling flat. Maybe that is the climax they are trying to head towards, but we'll see if that's the case. One memory we did get that was kind of interesting was the Izaiah incident at Jacob and Naomi's wedding. We saw that Izaiah was getting too drunk, which was kind of upsetting Elon because Elon was already upset because Izaiah didn't want to really be Jacob's best man or something, or wear a suit to Jacob's wedding. So Izaiah and Elon definitely got into it over that. And then during the argument, Izaiah wanted to walk away, and Elon like grabbed him and pushed him a little bit, so he kind of bumped into some of the glasses when Elon said, "Don't turn away from me." And Bill kind of oversaw the drama and came in saying it's not this type of party. And Izaiah didn't want to put up with this, even though Darlene tried to like make peace with Bill and Elon and Izaiah. But Izaiah just ended up leaving the wedding at that point. In the present, Izaiah was looking at a picture of the wedding and said he's sorry he was late, but he's happy to suit up now. Not really sure what Izaiah meant exactly by that. We've all been speculating that maybe there is more to Izaiah than what we know. Maybe that was another thing alluding to that, but it could have just been how Izaiah is saying he's gonna be a better brother right now. I don't know. I actually feel like they kind of fell a little flat with this memory of Izaiah at the wedding. I feel like it could have been far more dramatic after how much it's been hyped up. They are also falling flat, much like with the Impaler storyline, falling flat and showing us that Izaiah used to be this bad boy. Anyway, lastly, Naomi talked to Bill today, concerned because Bill's concerned about Jacob being gone so long on assignment. Naomi's just trying to tell her father that Jacob is not making excuses to stay away and that they're actually missing each other like crazy now. I mean, Bill has every right to be concerned. He's someone who saw their problems together the second half of last year. But today's episode ended with Naomi getting flowers and a card from Jacob. And that was kind of it. She just imagined that Jacob was actually there with her when he really wasn't. And obviously, she's sad that he wasn't there on their anniversary, even though he had time to see his brother. So that was our not so great start to the week this week. I'm hoping the rest of the episodes this week improve. Although I did tell y'all on Friday and on Sunday that when I saw the spoilers for this week, Monday it seemed like it was going to be a really episode we'd have to slog through. And that was correct. I do think the rest of the week will improve, although it won't take too much to improve over this one.